Now I think the time has come for me to build my next startup, and this time I'm going to make sure I take it to the moon. So hi, I'm Chikama, I'm 23, and I'm going to be building Fugacity app. Before I tell you what this app does, I'll give you a story time of how we got here. So when a lot of people see me, they probably assume that I studied computer science or computer engineering when I was in college, but that wasn't the case. I actually majored in chemical engineering, and people thinking I did computer science kind of makes sense because when I was 16, I had already taught thousands of people how to code and build chatbots on Udemy. I used to make programming YouTube videos. I spent a lot of my spare time like building programs, learning how to build software. So obviously, computer science kind of sounded like the most reasonable choice. In my first year, I tried to get into the computer science program. I wasn't able to, so I got enrolled in chemical engineering. And I actually spent 5 years in school doing chemical engineering, and I finished and graduated as a chemical engineer. And even if I did chemical engineering, my love for software engineering never died. In my spare time, I was still building side projects, going to hackathons, competitions. I even did an internship as a software engineer, even if I was enrolled as a chemical engineer. And now I'm done with school. I'm actually working as a software engineer. So my passion has mostly been software engineering, and chemical engineering didn't take that from me. And honestly, I think me doing chemical engineering might honestly be a blessing in disguise. And the reason why I say this is because had I not done chemical engineering, I wouldn't have been able to build the startup I'm actually going to be working on. So I'm working on Fugacity app, which is like a process engineering simulator. Process simulation softwares are softwares usually used to model industrial processes mathematically. So they're a way for chemical engineers to actually run a background process without actually physically doing it in an actual plant. So it's a very niche domain, and that's why I feel that doing chemical engineering is actually a blessing in this particular scenario. So some of the problems I encountered using this simulation software tools from the top of my head was, the first thing is that to actually get the tool installed, you needed to follow a list of steps. So you couldn't just go to the website and download the tool and use it. You had to follow a list of things. You had to download Microsoft Project, you had to download, I think, Visio. There were so many steps, and if you missed one step, it simply couldn't work. I use VMG Symmetry, so VMG Symmetry only really worked on Windows. So people who use MacBooks like myself were left out of the equation. So I had to always go to school in person to actually use the software because I used the MacBook at home. Third problem was that, let's say you were working on a team with a group of people, you actually had to message and email files between your teammates. Another problem with using these tools is that the learning curve is really high to use them. And the reason for that is this, like a lot of simulation tools, I'll say Aspen HYSYS because that's like the industry standard, is actually hidden behind really high paywalls. So it's usually sold to enterprise companies, and a license can be like $20,000 a year. So because of that, it's really hard to learn how to use these tools. So the barrier to using them is so high. So that's also another problem I think I can address, because I think I could make a YouTube channel where I could teach people how to use my software. In a sense, I'm killing two birds at once. And the last thing I really hated is that these tools look like they were designed like maybe 20-30 years ago. And honestly, I'm not even exaggerating. They actually do look, and I believe that a lot of them were built 20 to 30 years ago. So it's time for like software simulation tools to be built in a better or more modern way. And I think that since I have a lot of software experience and I believe that I have good taste when it comes to building software, I think I can be the person to lead that mission. Take a look at my YouTube channel. You can see that I have a video where I talk about how my SaaS failed. So I built like a gym management software. I think I started building it in 2024, where the intention was to get gym owners to use the application, but it wasn't really successful. And some of the problems I made when I was building it is that, first of all, because I enjoy software engineering, I kind of find marketing kind of hard for me because it's not something I really enjoy doing. So I kind of didn't put a lot of effort into it. So this time I intend to take like a multi-threaded approach. I tend to scream it from the rooftops and let a lot of people know what I'm building. And I think that's what I'm even doing with this YouTube video. So I'm going to build and I'm also going to market at the same time. Another problem I had with the gym software is that there are so many gym management software, so it's kind of like a saturated market. And when you go to a gym owner, even if your software tool was slightly better than what they were using. It was kind of hard to convince them to change their entire system just to join your software. So that was one of the problems I had. But in building that software, I actually learned a lot of things. I learned like cold callings, I learned how to do cold emails. I also learned how to talk to people. I also learned a lot about marketing, even if I'm not the best at it. So I intend to bring those lessons from my last software into this one, and we'll see where it goes. I really believe in this software because I believe that I feel with the simulation software there wasn't too much I could do to differentiate my software from the other softwares. But in this scenario, I think that I can make mine significantly better than what is currently used. Because the thing with simulation softwares is like the thermodynamics in those software is pretty solid, right? But the problem with it is the user experience. I think if I could make the user experience a lot better, I could target probably smaller engineering firms and maybe schools that teach chemical engineering. So these are my ideal customer profiles. And I think that if I can make my software really good, I think a lot of people will be interested in having a conversation about using my software. And honestly, I think this is a kind of challenging project for me to do. And I think just the fact that it's a challenging project, it might even be the most sophisticated software I've built to date. I think that alone is enough for the challenge. So I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you guys next time.